All right.
All right.
We're here.
Let's get it.
Let's snap in.
Wait,
Let's lock in.
This has been a pet peeve of mine forever, and this is perfect for Lurks. Can you pull up the picture? This might be an old one. I screenshot a lot of them, but as you know, Jaleel, me and you both know a lot of people, so I can't do it for everybody. So I'll do it for people I don't know.
Okay. What's up?
So I don't know. Here's one example. I don't know Brett Ratner, and he doesn't have a good rep anyway, so I lose nothing by this, so he can be my comedy foil. But there are some celebrity friends of mine that I do know that do this as well, but I'm not going to out them. I cannot stand now there's circumstances, not saying for everyone, and there's moments you can do this, but I cannot stand the happy birthday on Instagram, especially from one celeb to another. Because here's the thing. Who is it for? Because it's not for them 9 times out of 10. If I, like, for instance, here's this one. I don't know what the date of this is, but I do know people. I guarantee you Chris Tucker was not on social media, especially at this time. And even if he is, he's not seeing your happy birthday. If you have someone's number, text them, call them, whatever it is. But if you're doing this happy birthday on Instagram, it lets me know you're just doing that for everybody else to just say, hey, guys, just so you know, I know Chris Tucker. I know Tony Robbins. I'm friends with this person. Just want to announce it. There's other ways to do that without it being so obvious. And if they don't know you, that's weird too. But especially if you do know them, just give them a call. Text them. Unless they're really a social media guy. Now, you could say, as I say this last thing, you could say, oh, it's a sweet thing. It's a nice thing. Maybe. But chances are, I don't think you're doing it for the person.
All right. Well, you're touching on a big nerve here when it comes to the social media birthday shout out.
Ooh.
What it means. All right. This is seriously, this is big stuff I've been paying attention to for a long, long time. Now, in this one from Brett Ratner, I actually can read this one pretty simple. His real motive is saying, I'm so honored and excited about our collaboration, the Tony Robbins channel with Paramount and CBS TV. So apparently, that
was more of a promotional one.
This is more of a promotion.
Sure.
Sure. And he is, you know how it is in our business.
Yeah.
Everybody is wishing happy birthdays and sending cakes and sending gifts to anybody that you are immediately in business with at this particular time. So
sure, that's more understandable.
All right, so
But that was I'm just using him as an example.
I know, but that's the example you chose. So that's
okay.
That's
but then the one on the left, he knows Chris way too well for this. He knows Chris way too well, and Jackie Chan. He has both their numbers. He could call them. He does not need to wish. Both of them, especially Jackie Chan, did not see that post. He did not see that post. And damn sure Chris Tucker didn't see that post. I've known Chris Tucker since I was in 6th grade. I've never seen the guy touch a phone. Maybe that's changed in the last 5 years. I've never seen him touch a phone. I've never seen him look at a text, which shout out to Chris. That's an amazing accomplishment. So, Brett, you don't have the best rep as a person anyway, so I'm guaranteeing this is about...
Man.
He's not doing Rush Hour 4, so I can still get hired.
Joe Vesey is going in.
But
listen. In Brett's defense, that's a great nostalgic picture.
In Brett's defense, he's gonna need that in many ways.
Woo, man, you're going in. That's a great nostalgic pic with him and Chris and Jackie, and everybody looks super young. I don't know. I mean, considering how much money Chris made Brett. I think he can wish that guy happy birthday every year for the rest of his life, and I'll forgive him, and I'll say, you should, as a matter of fact.
No, you're right. He should. But by the way, here's what I would say. Just do a throwback. Hey, this is us on set. Just call it what it is. Don't do it under the guise of happy birthday. But just say,
okay,
hey.
But doing it on their birthday means there's a greater likelihood that the person is trending.
So they're doing it for not Chris.
So when a celebrity has a birthday, there is a greater likelihood that they're trending, that a lot of people are wishing them happy birthday, and so you kind of it's his way.
You join jumping
in the army.
Yeah,
exactly.
And let me tell you, I've had some celeb friends I can't say who I've seen do this, and I screenshot it every time, and I wish I didn't give a fuck and just put it out there, but I'm just like, guys, what? Come on, I know I know they're not seeing this.
These screenshots, do you keep them in a folder or do they just pile up in
in
your photos?
I'm starting to create a folder because I do have a stand-up bit about this, and I might just have to release the bit and flash it with a bunch, and I do it quick.
Oh, wow.
So I don't want to do... If I do it on a podcast, it seems a little bit more like I'm zoning in on one person the way we're doing this guy. But if I do it in a bit and I just show flashes, hey, it's just everybody, and if you happen to be in there and I know you, I guess I won't be getting a happy birthday on Instagram from
shout out.
But here's my last point. I want to know, on all these guys who do it, how often are they wishing happy birthday to their friend John from college who no one knows? I want to see that post.
But see, John not gonna get no likes.
There we go.
John's not clickbait.
Exactly.
John's not getting any forwards.
Exactly. So which means they're doing it for themselves.
Yeah, they doing it for the clout.
Yeah,
Yep.
and also, have you ever seen somebody post a birthday post for somebody and they themselves, the owner of the account, looks bad in the photo? Like, the entire point, it's multifaceted. Number one, hey, I'm friends with this famous person. Number two, look at this good picture of me. Doesn't matter if the birthday boy or birthday girl looks good.
Okay.
It's about the person
Now, you know
posting.
what? That means war in the world of women.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
That I do know. When a woman posts a picture tagging her friend as if the picture is in honor of her friend.
Yeah.
And her friend looks like garbage compared to the person who posted the picture. That means war.
That is literally like the most intense call to war that exists on social media.
So
in terms of birthdays.
if your friend, if you're very good friends with her, puts up a post of that, let's say happy birthday, you don't think you look good in the picture.
Yeah.
Do you think they did it on purpose, or like what's the reaction?
I don't know.
So it depends, because either they're a micro hater, which is a term that I am literally making on this podcast. Micro hater, in the sense that they're doing
the attorneys, get it trademarked.
We're getting it trademarked. So there's these micro haters.
Micro hater belongs to Chloe.
Clement
Go stealing it.
Trademarked. And what these micro haters do is that they do the most minute things that if you were to call them out on it, they could be like, whoa. I didn't realize this was a bad photo of you. I think you look great. But they know.
Yeah, you can't call them out.
You can't call them out. I can't say, hey, can you take down that photo of me? Because they're going to say, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that was a bad photo of you.
That's a foolproof system. They have it worked out.
Very Rachel McAdams
Micro
of you.
hater.
Oh, okay,
That's true, though.
They exist. And it's usually the people that are closest to you.
Always.
Always the people that are closest
Listen,
to you.
I will always say this. The worst people I've ever had in my life, I let them through the front door.
Oh, absolutely.
I invited them in. I offered them food from my fridge.
Yeah.
I said, stay later.
Yeah.
Eat tomorrow.
But don't you have? But there's friends out there that you've probably had, right, that will claim, even if you call them out on stuff, that no, like I support you, like I want the best for you, and deep down you can feel it, and you're like, no, but you've done X, Y, and Z where you can feel the passive aggressiveness or hostility, which you're right, it's hard to call out, because if they just say, no, I love you, I would never, but you're like, it's almost more diabolical. You'd rather a guy just be an asshole and you know where he stands.
Nobody can be overtly an asshole in this day and age. Now, there's certain people who actually practice that. I won't, and even in the media, they practice that. I'm going to be right, and they make.
He's like a fun. He's like a fun.
funny,
but he still owns it. He's like, hey,
Yeah.
but he does it comedically. But there's other people that really make a brand of what it is to be an asshole. Most people can't get away with it. I want to stick on the birthday topic just for a little bit longer for a second, because you said something, Joseph, where you said, why can't he just call Chris? Why couldn't he just, send a text or, to Jackie Chan or whatever, right? And we're speaking about Brett Ratner at this point and his birthday post that included Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. I think apart from Clout, clearly he was doing it for Clout and also as promotion. I think that it's important to recognize other people's actual love languages. So between women, I know this to be huge. The stories post for the birthday is a thing.
Sure.
It means absolutely nothing to me personally. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to, if a certain friend posts a picture of me or whatever, I'm not going to repost it on my stories. I appreciate it. That's fine. But if somebody, let's say I haven't heard from directly the way you just said, text me, shout me out, FaceTime me, what's going on with the family, what's going on with your kids, in over a year. and I'm having a good moment or whatever in the press or in the, professionally, decides to put me up on their stories, I don't see that as, I don't think people like me or Adam or other celebrities that I don't think we see that as being overtly personal. But in regular world, the Instagram birthday post amongst women is a big stinking deal.
Oh, absolutely.
So like when you see a woman that posts like 3 stories
Yeah.
for one girl, oh man, she's professing her love publicly.
Yeah.
In a major way. When a girl, shouts out her man or guy that she's dating in the stories for his birthday, especially if it's multiple posts and she's just gushing, going on and on. That's a huge expression of her affection.
But I think what we're getting at is they see that.
They
see
right.
it, and that's the key.
But
so
the
if you
thing
know
is, that may not be the person whose birthday it is, their love language when it comes to expressing happy birthday. So I'm just letting you know.
No,
if you post me in the stories and I haven't heard from you in a year,
yeah, of course.
That's
but the message.
But like it's like
Thanks.
I'm still like but I understand what you're saying. I think taking the celebrity out of it, then it's different, especially younger people coming up now. Social media posts might be more or just as important or personal as a text or a call. But like, okay, Chloe's 22. Most likely, I'll just say happy birthday on the phone.
I'm most likely 22. Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Well, I'm just saying, I'll just say happy birthday on the phone. But
Yeah.
like, I would understand if it also means a lot to her to be like, hey, happy birthday on social media, because that's her generation and she'll see it. And so I understand that. But most likely, I think I would, you still might like a call.
I'm making certain assumptions, but I do have somebody from your generation right here, both of you guys. Like, how do you like to be wished happy birthday?
Yeah, that's a great
in
question.
this day and age. Both of you, Scott.
For me, it's like my last birthday, I had one guy post this picture of me on the beach like this, and I was like, that's sick. But then the issue is,
Obsessed.
figure this out though, because I had to repost that because I was like, oh, that's my boy, that's what I do. But then I don't get anything else because all my other friends are like, we're not doing anything for you, you're a boner. So I just have to post that one, and then it looks like I'm like a loner dude because, like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of guys post multiple.
You post like the
I just
receipts
post
of the
one.
text.
So what do
of
you
people
prefer
texting.
then?
What
would you like
It's-
though?
Because I felt the emotion with the, hey, that's kind of cool.
It's rather it's a ghost town and I'm chill with that, and like my Instagram's nonchalant, or I need like 10. But there can't be a between, because then it's just like, oh, he has one friend who posted for him.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like great.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
are people aware of it? It's your birthday? Do you put it out there? Because I don't
Yeah.
put my birthday really out there.
I don't. But then when my friend posts that on his story,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, now I'm not gonna be like, oh, cool, bro. I'm gonna repost it. But now it's just one repost. So then what they're thinking is like, oh, this guy's like 3 friends, and like one dude was like,
Yeah, it's all perception.
happy
Yeah,
birthday,
yeah.
bro.
No, you're right.
See, I never would have looked at it that way, because you have to understand, people are going to announce my birthday whether I want to crawl into a hole or not on my birthday
Right.
on radio stations across America.
Right.
Not because, I've, done anything other than just be a public figure. They're just I'm going to always be a part of those lists.
Right.
I'll give you a situation, right? Okay. My friends don't really do that much on social media. Well, some of them do, but the ones I grew up with didn't. Let's say your mom posts on her story, happy birthday, sunshine. You're going to repost it because it's mom.
Okay.
But then none of your friends repost it. So now you just look like the guy who your mom was like, I'm here for you, champ.
Right.
But then you have no friends. You just look
Yeah,
lame.
yeah. No, social media can be like, painful in that
Wah,
way.
wah. See, I need my
Yeah.
sound effects right now.
Wah,
Wah,
Yeah.
I need my
Yeah,
sound
yeah.
effects.
Yeah.
The board is coming.
Yeah.
So how do you wish to be?
So I feel like my 2 main love languages, like just in general, are like words of affirmation and then quality time. So I feel like on my birthday, like I feel like when I was younger, like it used to be like a really big deal to get a post. Like if somebody posted a post for you, you're like, oh my God, like we are best friends and we are locked in. And if you got a story, then you're like a peripheral friend. And so it's like kind of seeing like where you stand on a status. Like it was kind of funny.
A
like
post is a lot, though.
a post is a lot.
A post is bestie. A post is like we might have been friends since middle school. Like that's
there. The
Yeah.
day after, it's just still lingering there. It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah, no, a post is like reserved
That's asking
for like
a lot.
are reserved, like a post is reserved for like your best friends, right? And then the stories you get from the peripheral friends, which is fine. And then like, I feel like now I like pretty much only do stories for birthdays and stuff, but like more often than not, I've like transcended into like the voice memo. Like I'll just send them like a voice memo, me being like, happy birthday, have an amazing day, and like tell them like something.
Start singing?
I don't know.
Start doing
like,
Aretha
sing to them
Franklin?
a little bit.
You got a nice voice there.
Yeah, that's pretty
Well,
good.
I sometimes do the Marilyn Monroe, and I'll go like, happy birthday to
wow.
you. And they'll be like, oh. And I send that to them. And that's my new thing, actually.
Can you sing? Do you sing?
I do sing a little bit.
Oh, wow. See, we're finding things out on Everybody
Right, but
Lurks.
but what I
Yeah.
loved about that also was, A, I just learned you have a very nice voice.
Why, thank you.
But two, you made it personal.
Yeah,
and
now
I'm
it's like my thing.
I actually got into a terrible argument with an ex one time because I called her out. You know, I called her out because she called me, you know, and like it was like midnight or it basically was like right after midnight or whatever. Like she called me to be the first to wish me happy birthday.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't mean it, and you didn't need to do it.
Yeah.
And she's like, wow, what a shitty thing to say back. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, don't be upset with me because I'm able to see things differently, more clearly now that we're not together.
Right.
But your love language are your Instagram stories.
Yeah.
So when you gush over these chicks out here that I know don't do anything for you, they're probably talking about you behind your back, but you're posting 3 and 4 times for them. And this is the first year you did not post for me, but you're going to call me at midnight and be like, hey, I just want to tell you happy birthday. I'm like, nah, you backsliding me.
Yeah.
And that's
What was the motive, you think?
No, the motive was just to maintain access.
Oh, yeah. You used to
oh,
say,
yeah.
what was your quote?
The
about-
birthday text is lethal. It can revive
just to
or
make-
unalive.
Always want to make sure. You used to say that. What was that quote
Well,
about
yeah, it was like
access?
I had to learn. It was like, let me tell you something. It's very important that heterosexual guys have a good lesbian friend. it's very important, and I have a very smart one, and so she kind of taught me a lot about access and what it means, particularly after you break up with someone. And I think it was just more of an access check where it's like, I'm not going to be with you, but I just need to make sure that, I still have all the same accesses that I had.
A little
and it's
lurking.
and it's like, no,
Yeah, you don't.
no, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, because I hate that.
Make sure that cuts to the edit real nice. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah, because I've seen girls, they think it comes with still some of the same perks.
No.
And by the way, and by perks, I don't mean like, paying for you. I just mean like, you don't get me in the same way.
No.
Like, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to hear your problems out. And I've seen girls, even girls that have, like, I would text and they might say they don't want to go out with me, but yet they still want to text me, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I saw you just worked in this movie. I'm like, you said no. So that means you don't get to hear about the BTS on my movie set. And I remember I had a girl once who used to play me constantly. I was young. I would chase her and we'd go out, play me, whatever. It would just be back and forth nonsense. I should have never talked to her. And then I remember I did a show with Sandler, and this is when he used to live stream the ends of the shows on Facebook. And it was me walking on stage at the end of the show, and Adam would graciously bring everybody up who was on stage. So he'd bring up David Spade, Norm Macdonald. He certainly didn't have to bring me, but he did. And everyone came on stage and said goodnight or whatever, and he announced them on the mic. This was insane. I can't even believe he, called me out. It was insane. Like,
Adam's a class
No,
act,
no,
so
I know.
Dave Chappelle does the same
I'm
thing.
not. Yeah, I
all
shouldn't
the
say
greats do it.
surprised. I'm more like shocked. It's surreal. I'm up here with comedy royalty. So they're calling everybody out, and then I see it on the post, and then I get a Facebook messenger from that girl who played me out,
Oh my
and
God.
she goes
Access.
and
Denied.
I still regret me responding, but I remember her where I'll never forget it. She goes, "I felt like I was up there with you." Now. And
She was in a Disney movie.
I've never, this wasn't even a girl I slept with. And I'm like, you felt like you were up there with me. I looked at that text and I was baffled for hours. And I was just like, I remember I read it like just walking around, with Adam, and he didn't see it, but I was just like walking around and I'm just like looking at the text and looking at my phone like, I cannot believe. And then I did the stupid thing. I was like, oh, is she saying I can hit now? Like, now that I'm important enough? And then I was like, I still do kind of want to have sex with her. And then I tried.
So you're saying I have a chance.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Is that how you felt?
That's how I felt.
You had a Dumb and Dumber moment.
I had a Dumb and Dumber moment. I thought, you know what? Maybe it's not a relationship, but maybe I could get it. And I said, this is why I got into the business, right?
Wow. And this is why you have me here.
And this is why I have you here, but I was young.
You could not get it.
But I fucked up, dude. So me and her, we go out. She does agree to meet up with me.
Of course.
Same shit happens again.
Yep.
No sex, pay for meal, bullshit. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this? But I was so angry at myself looking back at it, like, oh, all I had to do was leave it on scene and move on.
Yeah.
But I responded back, which lets her know she still got access. Access granted. She knew. I gave her the satisfaction that here I am on stage with comedic icons, but I will return your message.
Yep.
And that's where I fucked up.
And take her out on another day.
Take her out. What
if she has time for your goofy ass.
What a sucker I was. And she ordered the $42 thing on the menu. I'm going to invoice her one day live on the podcast. I want that money back.
Was this the girl that...
Yeah.
This is the $42
$42 girl, yeah,
The one $42
And this is when I couldn't afford Houston's.
What was the dish? What was the
It was a steak, right?
It was probably a fish, because Houston's doesn't have a lot of $42 items, especially at that time in the 40s. So, and by the way, Jaleel, this was when I couldn't just pay for Houston's willy-nilly. So this was a big deal.
$42 ain't cheap even right now for one dish.
No, it's not, but you know
You
what
had
I'm
a nice
saying.
spot.
Yeah.
You had a damn nice spot for one dish.
One dish and no ass. God damn. I'm like, I should have just said to her, you know that includes. Let's talk about what this includes.
There's a prenuptial
Nah, brother.
before.
I think she did say to me.
In America, a $42 dish includes nothing.
Nothing, yeah. I think she did say, I'll split it. But then I'm like, you know damn well I'm going to be a gentleman and pay for it, especially if I think there's a chance. But there wasn't.
You just got a little side hug.
It's probably worse than that.
I love it. Love languages.
Oh, yeah. Do you know your love language?
Explain.
Let me see.
Break it down for us, Chloe.
So there are 5 love languages. The first one is quality time, which suggests that an individual, expresses their love by spending time with an individual. Number 2, words of affirmation. Number 3, physical touch. Number 4, receiving gifts. And number 5, acts of service.
What's acts of service?
Acts of service essentially is like little things. Like if your partner was like, hey, we're both sitting on the couch. Would you mind getting me a glass of water? And you doing that to them is like, shows that you love them.
My wife brought me a bowl of half-eaten soup today, and I loved it. It was great, but it was also because she knew, she was like, this is really good chicken soup,
and she brought it over to you.
And she had put some extra crackers in there, some fresh crackers.
No, that's nice. That's
she was like, I think you'll like it more than I will like it even. And I was like, oh, yo, this is bomb. But that's like an act of service. I'm just at my computer. I'm trying to troubleshoot this issue at my computer.
Right.
And she comes in midday and just gives me, half of her soup, which was completely bomb. Like, okay, if we want chicken soup, we got to go back to this spot.
So what's your love language? Acts of service?
So when it comes to love languages, I think it's very important that people know your own and develop the ability to identify your love language. I think it's very important for you to know your own love languages, and it's very important for you to be able to identify the love languages of the person you're involved with.
Right.
This is huge. If I had known this at a younger age, this would have saved me so much grief.
Yeah, me too. I still don't. No,
it really would, because when your love languages don't align enough, and they shouldn't align perfectly,
right?
But when they don't align enough, good example, like if you're dating a girl whose love language is number 1 is gifts, like my daughter's actually might be gifts number 1 or 2. I'm not sure. I have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure because she took the test.
Yeah.
But I know that about my daughter, right?
Yeah.
And but if gifts in general is something that for you is like number 5,
right?
Number 4, like you don't care about necessarily receiving gifts, and giving gifts to another person isn't necessarily something that you are all about either. That's not gonna match up. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like my love languages have turned out to be acts of service is number 1. based on the test I took. Active service. My love language is based on the test that I took. Were acts of service, number 1. Number 2 was physical touch. Number 3 was quality time. Number 4 was receiving gifts. And number 5 for me, way down at the bottom, was words of affirmation.
Interesting.
I didn't even take the test, but just looking at this, I feel like for me it would definitely be.
I want you to take the test.
I want to take the test too, but I would have a feeling it would be quality time for sure. Number 1, words of affirmation, or physical touch. Physical touch probably number 2. Words of affirmation 3. Acts of service 4. Receiving gifts means almost nothing to me. It's nice, but I don't give a shit.
For most guys, physical touch is like
1 or 2.
Yeah, no,
it usually is.
No, I would say it's 2.
When I was younger, it probably would have been absolutely number 1. But right now, just because I know certain things, I'm like, acts of service happen to surpass physical touch.
Well, I guess because if we're talking about love, I'm thinking like, well, if you're getting physical touch, but really not quality time, that's probably not a good sign. So I feel like that's why for me, quality time would be first, and then.
Chloe said hers was words of affirmation. That's a big one for women at number 1.
Number 1 for sure is words of affirmation for me.
Big one.
Number 1, 100%. Number 2 is quality time. 100%. I like the second most meaningful thing in my book is you taking time out of your day to do anything with me. Okay. 3, acts of service. Number 4 is receiving gifts. And then 5 is physical touch.
Wow.
5 physical touch. God.
So what if the so
Skylar's like, no.
She cut for the team. She cut for the team,
Skylar. You're off the bench, bro.
But are you then aware that but then are you aware? I guess that's fine for you, but are you then aware that the guy probably has it number 2? So
so it goes both ways because these are the ways that I receive.
Yes.
But what are the ways I give? What I give.
You know what? We need to take a more in-depth test because your willingness to be physical with somebody else, it still matters how much that's satisfying you. So I got to be honest with you. I don't like hearing that you're down there at number 5 because now you make Skylar is devastated.
Okay. Like so, receiving gifts and physical touch are 4 and 5. They're interchangeable.
Tinder line, I could think of 5 physical touch. I'd be like, oh, bro.
Well, you and Skylar have just become completely platonic now, and that's the good.
We've been platonic, everyone.
Because
let the record show that we've been platonic.
But I'm saying, like, if physical touch is down there at 5 with you, I don't think any guy wants to be made to feel like what you're doing is a chore.
I would say 4 or 5. We should honestly do the test.
You got to do the test. Now we have to do the test, come back and say all of our results.
But by the way,
find the test for us.
Okay, we'll do the test later and we'll get it all.
But just to interject that I do think, though, women in general probably, physical touch probably is down on the list. Like especially once a relationship gets in past 6 months to a year, I would say more.
Man, we dealing with a different strain of woman these days, dog. So it could be number 1, it could be number 5.
But let's face it, even girls. But I'm just saying, like, take even this girls of these generations. Take a girl who's on OnlyFans posting nudes. She could still be like one of the least sexual people.
100%.
I've met it. So I'm just like,
yeah.
I will say, in my experience, girls. Physical touch, not in the beginning, of course, because they know they got to rope a dude in. They not going to get anywhere without that.
Yeah, that's why I am concerned with.
No, but I don't think
I
don't think that's what it means. She means 8 months in, I'm going to be my real self.
Can I explain?
I'm not Mr. Sleazy. I want to get that.
That's not being sleazy. Every guy wants to have sex.
4 and 3 spot.
I think in terms of so I'll recount and I'll say the receiving gifts and physical touch are interchangeable because
I need to see your test results. This is at this point. This is turning into a straight up STD test.
What?
Wait, how do we get to STDs? Wait. Finish your thought. What were you saying?
Just I would say like it would mean more to me for someone to say like, "Wow, you did such a good job," than like someone to like hug me.
Okay, and I'll accept that.
Does that count? That's how I would perceive it. It's
listen.
I'm proud of you.
We get that.
It wasn't surprising that words of affirmation was number 1 for you.
Right.
I'm just saying for your age, it was shocking for me that physical touch was 5.
Well, also I just feel like now, if that's somebody's number 1 thing for me, then I'm like,
But you know, girls get. Do you know?
You know, because
girls...
then I'm like, I feel used, and I'm like, that's all. That's all. What's
well, first of all,
like,
I want a girl to say
priority.
good job and let me give you head for it. That's what the.
Here we go.
That's
Here we
what
go.
I'd
It's
like.
the Joe Vesey show now.
Wait.
It's no longer Everybody Lurks. It's the Joe Vesey show now. Here we go.
Can I just be honest? Physical touch includes head. It doesn't
It's
just
like the
include
Lil Dicky song.
What'd you think? It
Can I get
includes
you
a
anything?
pat on the back? Come on, physical touch for you ain't a tickle.
A handshake.
You know, tickle your neck. Come on, physical touch is head.
A lot of things can happen in the physicality, man.
I'm just saying what I want, but I need both. I need words of affirmation and suck the life out of me. Well, I need those two going in. But listen, I saw Mike in the back get thrown, but. There was something you said, though, that I wanted to... Oh, yes, because you said I'm surprised. But I think I have heard, and from dating older women, I've seen this, too. Girls are typically, I notice, get... No other way to say this, if that's okay with you. Hornier in their mid to late 30s.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than in their early 20s.
Yeah.
And I've seen that, and so... Skylar, you might want to date a 38-year-old who hasn't, been pregnant yet, or maybe has had a kid or two, and she's going to go ham on you.
Those moms, man.
Yeah, MILFs.
Yep.
Whew.
I would like to see
recently
Skylar's
divorced.
carpool
You that's what Skylar. You need a recently divorced MILF that's 37 with one kid or two. You are in there.
If anyone's watching, please
Dude,
hit up Skylar.
and she's gonna be, and it's gonna be very
Kaplan.
roomy in there. She's had 2 kids, and she's gonna be ready to go and pounce on you. You're not gonna be able to keep up.
Yeah, man.
You better take some Viagra.
Yeah.
She's gonna be.
Gonna
I've
on.
dated an older woman. They're ready to go at all times.
That's
Anytime you want, Skylar.
what?
So this is life changing for Skylar.
I'm like, let's go to the Brentwood Country Mart. She's like, let's just fuck.
Yo,
around.
no, 100%. Skylar, you don't want a 24-year-old girl on OnlyFans right now. You want a 37, 38-year-old MILF, and
I
you're
am a member.
and you're you're good to go. You're a member of what?
The
MILFs?
Vox.
Oh.
No. This I read this article the other day and it was literally about this. It was like the only generation not in a sex recession. And it's not just in the movies. Gen X women are having the best sex of their lives. This is a Vox thing.
I don't really believe that.
I don't know. Well, you just made that argument.
Oh, Gen X. Oh, Gen X.
Not Gen Z. We're Gen Z.
Oh, I thought
Gen
you said
X.
Gen Z.
You're saying
Oh,
the
Gen X.
30.
Okay. My bad.
I would believe that.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought you said Gen Z.
I would believe that. I think there's a lot of mistake making that goes on in your 20s, period. And then if you come out on the other side of that regret, going to hell with it. I'm gonna have some fun. If you're if you're smart, if you're enlightened.
I love that look. That look is the best. Man, that is a good look right there, man. Oh, you just need to stay on this right here. That's a good. It's a great single shot. I actually have a belief, just again from my experience and observing and statistics. I did my research, have proved me right as well. I think if you're under 25, girl or guy, you're gonna do it, but no reason to get in a relationship. It ain't gonna pan out. Most people, they do not survive. If you're getting into a relationship under 25, it's either going to end in your 20s, end after 6 months, or possibly end in flames when you're both 40 and you realize I fucked up. I feel like most, yeah. So what does it say there?
60% of couples married between the ages of 20 to 25 will end in divorce. Those who wait to marry until they are over 25 are 24% less likely to get divorced.
100%. So many people I know who are breaking up, even in their 40s, whatever. I said, when did you guys start dating? 19, 22, 23. It's not enough experience, not enough time. I really think people would save themselves a lot of trouble if they just said, hey, I love you, but let's not be exclusive yet. And if we're still hanging around each other and we're 25, 26, then let's revisit it. But
it takes a lot of social discipline to be able to pull that off.
I agree.
And the only reason why is because both of your friend groups are going to tug at that.
Mm-hmm.
Her girls are going to be like, what are you doing with this guy? And your guys are going to be like, she's not your girl anyway.
Yep.
Right? So it's just like...
No, you're right.
Right? That's just the way that's going to play out.
That's true.
So in theory, that's a great suggestion. I think it sucks that this generation, the younger generations, don't see the value of relationships really claiming each other a little bit more at a younger age.
They don't want to work.
It doesn't have to go all the way to the altar, but that's the thing about Everybody Lurks, this concept. You can't move on so easily anymore. So yeah. I think this whole social media, this whole social media universe that we've created now, creates a reluctance to be both feet in, because you're leaving those footprints.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, but I think there's a huge value in having been with somebody.
Yes.
And be like, that's definitively my ex. And I learned this when I was with her, or I learned this when I was with him.
Right.
And you know what? It didn't work out. I wish her the best. I wish him the best. But we both went in separate directions. That was just easier to do before social media. And so now it's just kind of like, all right, everybody's in a situationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, when it comes time to have children, when it comes time to share a space, when it comes time to split bills, when it comes time to now deal with the harder stuff that comes along with being in a relationship, how much experience do you have with that?
Right.
Not much.
People,
you got a lot of situationships.
Yeah.
So you're going to be more prone to, when the shit really hits the fan, to being like, oh, it's either your fault or I'm out.
Yeah.
If not both. Claiming both of those things.
I think people don't want to work at it. This younger generation, they don't know that they feel like if it takes effort, then why am I with this
is
person?
a good question for all of us then. 'Cause it's easy to just simply say like, okay, people don't want to work at it. But what's worth for each of us working at it?
Well, I think
what's worth? Be specific. Like give me 2 qualities in another person that's like they could do something really to piss you off. Like, man, your partner is really getting on your last stinking nerve. But because they do these 2 things, or they have these 2 things going for them, that's worth it. I gotta chill.
I feel like if they're...
I know some of mine, actually. I know a couple of mine.
I mean,
I know that now. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
Because I'm telling you what happens is, if we're just human beings, man. So, how do I frame this right? We're just human beings. And when people agitate us or get on our nerves, if we don't have an absolute reason to mind our best behavior, we will not. When you're at work, you want to keep your job. You want to stay employed. So that's the reason why you don't bug out on coworkers and bosses and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Because you're like, yo, I got bills to pay. Like, I got to chill, right? So when you're dealing with another person, that's one reason why it's important to be evenly yoked, I think, when you're dealing with another person. Because if you start losing respect for them, then they're going to see the worst sides of you always when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
You need to have a reason with your other person to be like, all right, I got to chill. I got to be patient. I got to work through this. Give me a couple of qualities that would make you say, if my partner is that, I got to work through it. I'll give you a good example. Scott and I just make it easy for you.
Okay.
Let's just say you came upon a Sports Illustrated WNBA star. This chick is 6'3". She is a stunner. She is in Sports Illustrated. She's got a 1.1 million followers.
Okay.
All right? And she just randomly likes you. And she's like, you guys are going down the path of being a couple. Is that enough? Does that status, is that something that if she started to have a bug out moment would make you say, okay, I need to be patient with this? Like, I didn't appreciate that moment. We'll get back to figuring out how we can address it. But this is a WNBA star, man. Like, everybody wants her. Like, I don't know. Is that your criteria? Maybe for somebody, like for me, my criteria, I realized was like, my lady actually comes from an amazing family. And I know how hard it is to meet a woman whose entire family you will enjoy. That's hard. You can be out here swiping left all you want, but are you going to like her brother, her other brother, her mother, her dad, her sister, her cousin, her this? Whoa, that's a lot, right? And all these people are coming over for Thanksgiving and you're going to their house for Christmas. So I'm like, whoa, when I saw that quality, when I saw that my partner had that, I was like, man, I really like being around all these cats. I look forward to going to Chinese food with her brother, man. That's just something we do.
He's a funny guy.
He's a funny dude. You know he's hilarious.
He is hilarious.
Right? I was like, okay, when she and I are having a tough moment, I'm like,
you could go hang out with him.
Hey, And I've done it.
And you've done it. That's kind of dude. He can make you laugh.
And I've done it. You know,
Get into a fight. Who's showing up first?
So
and
if I get in a fight with my girl, I go hang out with him, and I don't even know him.
Right. So I'm just saying, like,
But I think so. The question you were proposing, I mean, I assume what's the answer, Scott?
what's the give me some qualities? Like I said, for me,
Qualities?
I said coming from a really strong family was huge.
I was gonna say if the family likes them, that's pretty important.
If the family
likes you,
Likes them.
oh, if your family got it, if your entire family likes her, then that's a reason for you to be more patient in your disagreements.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if she's got the same hobbies as you, I feel like it's hard to find someone who has the same hobbies as you.
Okay.
You know, like if she's like if I'm dating a funny girl and she's hilarious, even if she pisses me off and she makes me laugh, that's awesome. Because like there's a lot of guys that I'm friends with that piss me off, but they say a funny dick joke and I love them again. So.
Well, but basically you're saying you wouldn't just put, if that was the only thing she was offering to the table as status, you wouldn't put up with that for long.
Like if she wasn't funny.
If she was an asshole, if she
just like had no personality.
No, I mean I'm just saying. Let's assume you got to also assume like okay, he's got the 6 months in.
Give his credit though.
Let's say like I would be like, all right, let me get the Instagram followers first for a couple months, and when that generates, then I'll be like, all right, like that you were cool.
Social
That's a good idea.
climber.
That's
Social
smart.
climber.
That's smart.
All right, so
Yes.
Skylar said if
That's
she got
so-
that status and
That's
his
smart.
family likes her and they got the same hobbies, she could basically tell him to fuck off at any time of the day, and he's gonna be like, "Baby, let's just calm down and talk about that tomorrow."
Yeah. No, I think if a girl is supportive and loyal and all those kind of things, like then you're willing to put up with more. But if she's not bringing anything to the table and she's just hot or in good status, that's gonna get old quick.
What is bringing to the table, Chloe? What is bringing to the table? Let's just get to the nitty gritty.
What is bringing to the table in like my world or just in general?
I mean, I always ask you stuff because I like to hear from you. But you know, if you want to give me a general answer,
No, I can give a me. I can give a me
everybody
answer.
always says, well, you know, I need somebody who brings something to the table. What are they bringing?
Well,
What does this potluck look like?
So I feel
Let's get
like
specific with these dishes.
I feel like if we're going to use this potluck analogy, I'm going to be bringing certain things to the potluck that are going to, you don't necessarily need repeats, right? Like you can have like, maybe there's sometimes that you do need to have a little bit of like variety. So it's like if you're going to bring like, say sauces, like I'll bring ketchup, if they bring mustard, those are both sauces, but they're both different and they offer different qualities, right? So.
A lot of metaphors. What do those metaphors translate to?
What are they?
Cheese.
What is ketchup and mustard? What do they actually translate to? Is that money, car? What is that? What is that? What is
So wait,
that?
and that's what I'm saying. Okay, so that what I'm trying to say is that there are certain things at the table that there can be two things of. For example, both of us like have to be kind humans, right? Like so
Okay.
that's like ketchup and mustard.
You are a
like,
kind person. So I'm, all right.
but they have to be nice, right? Like they have to like be bringing number one. They just have to be like a good person because then what are you doing?
All right.
Like,
So kindness. All right.
Kindness
so we'll
number one.
So kindness or yams. Yams with
Yams.
marshmallows.
I liked what you said about loyalty and support. Both of those things I feel like are just super like
But what is support? What is that?
Not financial support.
Not financial
No,
support.
like cheerleader. Like
Cheerleader.
on your
Cheerleader
side,
vibes.
Okay.
hyping you up.
words of affirmation.
Yeah, words of affirmation.
Oh, so you know what? Honestly, somebody that like emotionally gets me. I think that's like somebody that
Emotionally seen, maybe.
emotionally seen because that's my love language. Is like that's how I receive. Is like if somebody sees how I receive love, then that's like
Here's the
really
worst thing
important.
a girl can do. You come home and you say, I can't stand this fucking coworker, blah, 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 and they don't agree with you. You need your person. Doesn't mean they can't call you out or say maybe you're doing something wrong. But, you know, when you're heated or you're not having something, you need someone who will be on your
Have your
side,
back.
have your back no
Yeah.
matter what. If they're not doing stuff like that, that's like a big, you know, I think red flag.
I think
And again, they could still give you some helpful criticism and say, hey, but, you know, this and this, if they're really trying to be constructive. But if they don't have your back, yeah, that's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Yeah, they gotta
and
go.
I've seen that
gotta
before.
go.
I've definitely been that where the girl's like calling you. And again, this doesn't apply to people who are assholes. Maybe they are and they just need their girl to be like, you're a dick.
Right.
But I just mean the normal people who are kind and nice. If they're not, you know, they need that.
Yeah. No, so yeah, I think that like if you're gonna say like Chloe, you it's like just like because you said originally like two things. Like I just think that somebody has to like get like support me in the sense of like they have my back. Like if something's going on and I'm like, even if I'm like, having a really bad day and I'm like, I'm sorry I'm being so annoying, blah, blah, they're like, no. Let me hear you out. Like, what do you have to say? Like, let's talk this through and like be patient and stuff like that. So I think like that and then maybe patience as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but I agree with you. Like, I'm lucky in the sense of like I get along with my girlfriend's family. I like hanging out with them, and there's so many like attributes that she brings to the table that if we have a disagreement, whatever, it's worth, like you said, getting through.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other positive. The pros outweigh the cons. Even sometimes, I think back in the day when I was younger, I'd let the cons fill my head up too much. But I think now I can more go, 20 minutes, this is gonna pass. It's not really the end of the world. And there's so much she brings to the table that it allows, to move past those things.
I'll be a little more bottom line about my criteria. I think it's just my personal opinion. I'm no expert at anything, but I've had my fun dating. I have a 15-year-old daughter. I've been through some shit. I think that if you really want to calculate what a person is bringing to the table, I think it all comes down to their AAC score.
What's that?
Their accolades, their affiliations, and their character.
I like that.
Wait, I love that.
Love that.
I think that's really what it comes down to.
Let me say it one more time so it's
Their AAC score.
Yeah.
Their accolades.
That's a clip.
Their affiliations, and their character. So even, like I said, like the family thing that I brought up, that falls under affiliations.
Yeah, that's true.
I really like giving that a lot of thought. And it's like for a young person especially, and the accolades matter. How accomplished are they in their fields?
Is OnlyFans an accolade?
It's an accolade.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
It may not be an accolade that matters to me, but if some woman is out there is truly and not just faking it,
Yeah,
making $300,000 $400,000 on OnlyFans, that is her trophy.
Yeah.
That is
your bag.
That is her douchey equivalent of a dude in a big bright Hawaiian shirt, Jimmy Graham shirt or whatever, and his Lamborghini pulling up to the spot in Miami. Like, we don't know necessarily how he got his dough or whatever, but
it's like a Wall Street guy or some Wall Street kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's like
cokehead.
There can be male douches and there can be female douches.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Way more male douches.
All right. And there are way more male douches, at least optically, than female douches.
I mean, I don't think a woman is a douche for
but-
doing OnlyFans.
right.
I was just trying to count.
But
what
I'm
the
just saying, I'm
accolades
like,
were.
for me, it's douchey, but I'm not going to dismiss that it's an accolade.
Right.
If you're making that kind of money on freaking OnlyFans, and who the hell am I to tell you, girl, you need to get up off of there, please. That's her accolade. But for me, I'm like, this is like, the colleges you attended, the awards you've won.
If I do an OnlyFans, would you still remain?
See, every time we having a real good conversation, you want to take the shit all the way left and get weird.
I just asked you. You don't even know what kind of OnlyFans I mean. I was just asking.
Joseph, you were making negative numbers in OnlyFans. You have to
pay OnlyFans.
You would have to pay OnlyFans.
I think
to keep your account
But we don't
alive.
know what I'm going to do. We haven't decided what I'm going to do. I might do something outside the box.
What would you do? What would you
like,
do?
Who knows?
on
Like, I
OnlyFans?
might jump rope naked. You
might
might just want to see that. You just might want to see that. And I'll be the first person is not going to be flipping and flopping. I'm going to keep an erection while I jump.
And how much you think that's going to generate monthly, Joseph?
Well, that's not going to be the only thing I do. That's just one.
Oh, that's just
idea.
one of your
That's just
circus
one
tricks.
video.
That's just one video.
I got many more tricks up my sleeve.
Okay, all right.
Hey, so that's just one.
Is that behind the $3.99 month ordeal, or
That's,
is that
that's on the
behind,
lower end. That's on the
it's
lower
on the
end.
lower
We
end?
got some bigger things coming.
Because
Yeah.
when we get up to the double digits,
Oh,
to the
then I'm pulling out.
$11.99,
I'm pulling out
I need
stops.
to see more than just flopping and jumping.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be flopping.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just saying. But
That's
yeah.
the tagline. I had a really good idea for OnlyFans once. It was during COVID.
Oh, shit. Oh, here we go.
Chloe, you've been holding out.
So that's why Chloe
Brought
joined
to-
the podcast.
Brought to
Same
you by
person.
Olipop.
Yeah.
This is the same person who put physical touch at 5.
Yeah, ready to do
Hey, wait.
OnlyFans.
No, because it was going to be funny. I was going to do like a funny OnlyFans in which mine would be called OnlyPans. And it would be just like me making like food, but I'd be like cracking. I'd be like, so you crack the egg, and like,
Oh, so
but
you
I
do
like,
it sexually?
like kind of like as a joke.
I see. So it's like,
Wait, what?
There's someone who does that.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Aw, see, I had that when I was like
Wait a
17.
minute. Find that person.
Yeah.
Someone has spoken from the other room.
I've seen that on Instagram before.
Oh, wow.
Susie
oh, damn.
Vidal.
We have one of the subscribers.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so apparently my idea is not original.
How many followers is that? I can't see.
2.7 million.
I'm jump roping naked tomorrow. Are you fucking kidding me?
See, this is exactly what I would have been doing. I would have been wearing a little sweater.
So wait a minute.
And a little hat.
She bakes in the kitchen nude?
No.
No nudity?
No
so,
nudity.
But you could be on OnlyFans
Wait
and
a
not.
minute.
It's just puns.
Look, can we watch one of these?
Well, that's not
Yeah.
fun.
Well, it's
Well, see,
obviously
mine was
doing
gonna
well.
be good, and mine was gonna be like,
So wait, can you play it? I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
see
yeah,
what
I'm
this
playing
shit is.
Spoon of salt. I like to add a little bit of nutmeg. It's just so good. Also use any excuse to use this little grater. It's very cute.
Wait, hers is not the same as my idea. My idea was gonna be like, and like make the egg like with like sexy music behind it and stuff.
Right, I see. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay.
that is
But
different.
it was gonna be
That's
funny.
different.
Mine's different from
But
hers.
where's the
She's just-
nudity?
there
No,
would
there's
be
no
none
there
in
would be
mine
none.
at
It's kind of
least.
funny there's no nudity.
Okay.
Mine would be
Actually,
like
sound
mine would be like making like bow, 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 and you
So
like
it'd be
then
like
you
the
put,
porn music,
the
but
porn-
no.
Yeah, and then
but
you're just
no.
like
Yeah,
cooking
yeah.
things.
So everything's
Okay.
pornographic, but
But-
the skin.
Yes.
That makes sense. That's kind of cool.
I like this concept.
I think you should start this
I
once the
would honestly
podcast gets
start
going.
it.
I like that it's not pornographic.
Yeah, it wouldn't be pornographic.
That's the first time Skylar's ever said that.
That is the last time Skylar will ever say that. That's the
That was the
I like that it's not
That's good.
pornographic.
Oh, that's good.
No,
Oh,
that
that's
was my really great idea, but I was 17 and so I couldn't make one. And I was like, oh, but now I'm 22, y'all, so come
Yeah.
to my OnlyPans.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I think
OnlyFans.
I
wow.
think if you had done it at 17, you would have gotten even more followers.
Yeah, that's it. We live in a sick world. And you should have
I'm
advertised.
gonna tell
I'm
people
17.
I'm still 17,
Your window might have
actually.
passed, girl.
I'm getting old, but not too old
By
for
the way,
Leonardo
I have.
DiCaprio.
I just for. By the yeah, that's true. You can still
I'm not
date
too.
Leo.
I'm still young enough for Leo. And
You're
that's
still young enough for Leo, and you can still save the planet with Leo, as we know that's what he cares about.
conservation resource
But
studies.
you know what? I've had girls though say to me though, by the way, which is crazy, that the girls will say, "Oh, wouldn't it be hot if I was 17?" This is like going back some years, but dating.
Oh, man.
And I would always be so shocked at that, especially the world we're living in. And sometimes a girl once texted me that she's like, "Oh, wouldn't it be hot if I was 17?" And I'm like, I'm aware. I'm like, no, it would not be. She was not going to
Legally
get me.
speaking, no.
Yeah, she was not getting me in that trap. First of all, that's not something that does it for me. But second of all, I'm like, are you crazy that you're texting me that? Because I'm like, can you imagine me even responding back? Even if I was just going along with her, being like, oh yeah, it'd be so hot. I'm like,
Jokes,
no fucking way. But I've had
never.
multiple girls say that, and I'm surprised in this, the Me Too and the power dynamic, that girls, there's some kind of turn on with, I guess, them being, not slightly the age they're supposed to be and being with an older guy. And these girls I'm speaking of were like 24, 23, so they weren't like 35 saying it, but still, I was just always like, oh, that's a little strange, and I will not be sexting back. So I would just I wouldn't even give a thumbs up.
It's crazy because on some straight hypocritical shit, like, women are almost encouraged to take advantage of dudes when they're younger.
Girls are encouraged? You mean
Yeah,
adults?
like women amongst each other would be like, you know what? You just need a break from all this serious stuff. Go have some fun, right? And like do that with a young stud.
Like if they're like 40 and
like
exactly.
Skylar.
right. But of age.
With this
though.
But I'm saying,
Yeah.
but I'm like, if a woman is 28 years old and she just went through a breakup, right? And she's out with her girls, she's gonna come across some dude that's 24 or 25,
Sure.
whatever, and it's like. And of course, she's gonna whine to her friends, like, "Oh, he's too young." And then if she has that friend, her friend gonna be like, "Girl, have some fun."
Yeah, just fuck them.
right, right.
Yeah.
So, and it's cool. Same thing. If a woman is 38 or even 48, she would
She
get
could
the
do it.
same
Yes,
recommendation.
you're right. But if it's a guy,
but if it's a guy,
he's disgusting.
Oh, he's disgusting.
How could he do that?
How could he?
What
do
does
that?
what does this 50-year-old guy see in this hot 19-year-old girl? Like anyone would do that. They always say. I always get annoyed at that when women are like, "That's gross." I'm like, first of all, every guy would do that, and you, if you were 50 years old as a woman, would have sex with a 20-year-old, 19-year-old guy. It's like,
Fran Drescher just put it out there that she has a whole rotation.
who is that? Wait, who is
The
that? again?
nanny, Fran Drescher is hot.
Oh yeah, how old is she?
Fran Drescher, she said she has somebody asked her about her private life, and Fran Drescher was like, "Yo, like I got
A rotation?
She straight up was like, I got a roster, friends with benefits.
But if she was a guy, she couldn't say that.
But exactly,
right.
She couldn't necessarily. There being what Bill Belichick is pulling off is an all-time move. But it's an all-time move. But most guys just can't really pull that off and maintain their family unit, maintain the respect of their inner circle. You know
what Chloe, I need you to weigh in on this so I don't get in trouble, and maybe I'm wrong, but haven't you seen those things where like you'll see like 22-year-old girls will say like, oh, I was taken advantage of by this guy or whatever. I'm not talking about their boss. I'm just talking about a guy in general. Like, oh, I was taken advantage of and I didn't know this, I didn't know that. And I'm like, okay, fine, maybe that's the case. But you were an adult. You were 22. Like, they say it as if they're talking like they were 10. It's a little weird to me that you don't want to be treated with any accountability as an adult.
It's a double standard you need to embrace.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna just tell you straight.
Okay, fine. I have to embrace it. I'm just asking, though, if it's a little odd to not go, so should we not say you're an adult at 22?
No, you cannot say that. That's rude and disrespectful. You just got to embrace that it's a little bit of a double standard. Like,
so when does
bottom line is an older woman is encouraged to have fun and sow her oats, and when a guy does the same thing, it's considered to be creepy. Typical and creepy.
So wait, can you just weigh in just so we have a girl perspective on what I just said?
Have you guys watched White Lotus? Have you seen the Parker Posey?
Of course.
Obviously.
I have not.
You've seen the Parker Posey quote where she's like, why are you dating this middle-aged weirdo?
Yeah.
Does he have a lot of money?
Yeah.
Like, that part.
That's a great scene.
And EmRata, she did a video like with that voice and was like, why didn't anyone tell me that like when I was 19, like dating like a 50-year-old was weird? And we're all like, girl, we all tried to tell you. Like, I was like 10 though. So like I'm like watching this as a 10-year-old and I'm like,
do you think she should be held accountable or no?
Yeah. If I'm saying
different.
EmRata?
No, but forget Emma.
It was a legend.
Hold on. But let's forget Emma. But she's saying
no, it's not Emma. 19. This is EmRata. Get the name right.
Darling girl.
Young.
You're young. You're beautiful.
Okay, so let me ask you. So whoever it is,
yeah,
if it's not their boss or some weird thing like that, where someone's getting taken advantage of, like where they're holding something over them, I'm not talking about that. So should they be accountable even if they were young?
Yeah, I mean young
of age.
In a scenario where it's not like a power play in which it's like we're describing like where there's
an
exchange of whatever.
No, not that.
You are two consenting adults. If I were in a relationship with somebody older, and then I were to pop out of it afterwards and be like, I was taken advantage of, that would be unfair because like it's not like
that's why. But it happens every day.
I mean,
totally. You guys know me. I'm like,
let me just also specify because I don't have to specify 100,000 things in this day and age. I'm saying I'm not talking about someone who is abusive,
right?
Who is purposefully trying to manipulate you and like take advantage of your life. I'm just talking about a regular normal relationship, but there was a big age gap. That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah, I personally think that there's not necessarily like there is such an ability to be like so quick to jump and be like, oh, like you were younger, you were older, but at the same time too, like, yes, I might not be like the wisest of the bunch, but I still am a cognitive and my prefrontal cortex is pretty developed.
But it's not completely.
Not all the way.
But please add graphics when she says that too.
You got 3 years.
I got 3 years until I can rent a car for not that much money.
Yeah.
You can't ignore the elephant in the room when it comes to the age gap. Generally, the age gap is offset by the amount of provision that the older person is bringing to the table or the amount of status that a person is bringing to the table. I'll tell you somebody, Madonna has always been able to date way younger than her.
True.
But Madonna is a smooth operator. Like, she's almost genderless in how she operates. I mean, I just happen to know some people that she's interacted with.
Yeah.
And so, when she pursues a guy, she pursues a guy almost in a way that a guy with money and status pursues a girl.
Have you ever seen that video of Drake?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's not ignore the elephant in the room.
The status portion.
Even M, M, it's easy for EmRata at this point to say, and it was a funny impersonation, by the way. So the impersonation alone made that video worth watching.
Yeah.
But she can't really go back and be like, oh, who was I so young and naive dating these weirdos? It's like, no, you were dating dudes who had
influence and power and elevated your status.
Exactly. Influence and power, and they matched your status enough.
Right.
That it made more sense for somebody like her to date guys like that than some dude on the freaking water polo team at any local college. Like, come on, man.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and that's where I think also, like, when that's what I'm saying, like, when women are like, oh, you know, like when EmRata saying, like, oh, why was I dating this middle-aged weirdo? Well, because he was in your league. Like, that was the league you were operating in. That's what I was trying to say is instead of like, oh, like you were taking advantage of. No, EmRata, you're a big deal. And also being with those people of status did elevate her and make her more prevalent and be like, rather than her just dating a random water polo guy.
Absolutely.
And by the way, if the guy
is
you know, abusive or emotionally abusive, you know, that's probably easier to do if the girl is younger. But obviously, people also get emotionally abused and taken advantage of even when they're the same age gap, the same age. So it can happen in any scenario. But I do feel for obviously women who have been like abused or taken advantage of if they were 20 and some high power guy, you know, fucked with their head. Obviously, that's horrific. I just wonder though if sometimes that can still happen, but you can still take some accountability, and would that help maybe future women kind of deal with that? Because if you don't take accountability, then you can constantly just have things happen to you.
True.
I don't know. That's just, you know, my thought. By the way, have you ever seen the video of Madonna? It's an old video, kissing Drake on stage and Drake almost vomiting?
Yeah, dog.
What did she... I don't know what she had in her mouth, but Drake did not look happy.
No, he wasn't happy about that.
What the hell was that? I still to this day want to know. Yeah,
that's assault,
watch this.
bro.
Watch this. But yo, oh my!
She might have pranked it. Like she actually might have had something in her mouth.
What was in her? Well, God knows what that was.
He looks less than thrilled. That's hilarious to describe that
No,
reaction.
I mean, look, this is where I say where I'm like, I'm that guy, man, at this point where I'm like...
Oh, you imagine if those roles were reversed?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
my God.
You took the words out of my mouth, where I'm like, I'm learning that there are certain double standards you just have to embrace. Because if a dude of her stature had done that to one of the ingenues of Hollywood...
Oh, a rap.
Oh, they'd have carried his career out on a stretcher.
There would have been no Kendrick beef because Drake would have ended that night. That is, if you there's things I have seen that if you reverse them, oh my God, there's a million examples. You say you want to embrace them. I understand that thinking.
You have to.
But I'm here to say we got to figure something. There's got to be a middle
because there's comedy in embracing.
Well, of course. By calling it out.
By calling it this comedy.
Yeah.
And then you protect yourself. Your own, some things you're just not going to change about this lifetime. So you just go, okay, man, that's a double standard. Just make sure I don't step in that pothole.
That's like, here's a double standard you're not going to change in life, but I'm determined to go against it. The way women think they have platonic guy friends.
No,
that's one of the worst things I've ever encountered. Most girls just can't acknowledge it. It's the most frustrating thing I've ever seen in my life. I've dealt with it with every experience.
That's a whole other episode. Trust me.
All right.
What's the next one?
We'll get into. I want to get into that though.
Yeah. Just ask Chloe.
All right.
She'll tee it up for us. What do we got right here?
So we have a video of Usher at a concert with a very lucky fan. And
what date was this? When was this? Actually, don't say that.
I want to interview this woman. I want you to find this woman, please. I want to interview this woman. Get the arrow out of there.
Oh my. Is that Viola Davis?
I have to
I thought it was. No, it wasn't. A little more Aretha.
She's ready to risk it all.
Listen, she don't care.
Is she touching herself?
Yeah, no, she having a moment, brother.
She's having an orgasm.
Yes, she is.
Oh my. Oh Lord. What is Usher doing?
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Look at the women in the back are just filming. They're like, haha, why isn't that me?
Oh, that's too much. But we don't...
Auntie, please.
Do we know if she's single or not?
Okay, so that gets us
because that story is apparently not true.
So
did we debunk it? It's
yes,
not
we
true.
did. We debunked it.
Okay.
But here's the question.
Well, tell us what we debunked.
Okay, so they said there was an article that was said that this woman had kissed or had been, intimate with Usher or whatever, and she'd never been intimate with her husband in all of their years of marriage or whatever. So then he said, I'm divorcing you because you had this moment with Usher and you've never done that with me. Fake.
Fake news.
Okay, so
Fake news.
so let me just propose
journalism
the
at its
question to the
finest.
room though, because I'm sure Usher has done this with people who have had somebody.
Well, Usher had that moment with Kiki. It didn't go that far, but it caused an issue.
Here's the question: would you be
Palmer.
okay with, if that's your girl or wife? Would you be okay with that moment? That's the question.
Again, I can't weigh in on that because every woman is different. So
I will.
It would be laughable. It would be laughable for my lady to be in that situation with all them cameras and all them lights on her. Man, my lady would be looking for.
But we're
she would
doing
be
a
looking at. She would be looking
hypothetical.
at. I know, but you said my lady.
No, I didn't say your lady.
Oh, you
This is a
okay? No, you
hypothetical.
just said any girl.
Yeah, because we're not. Yeah, I don't want to go with your woman's personality. I get it. You don't worry about her doing that. But I'm just saying. Let's just say she did.
I'm gonna just be real with you. I'm at a point in my life now where I don't think organically I would be with a woman who wanted to put herself in that spotlight. If that's her, the peak of her getting off, I'm not with that shit.
That's my worst nightmare.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, Usher didn't even touch her.
Yeah.
Like this chick this dude just looking at her games. I mean, he's playing.
No, I know what he's doing.
He's playing performative games with her, right?
Sure.
And he's getting this.
Yeah, bro, it's so over the top.
I'm like, I just.
Yeah,
I live too in reality.
Yeah.
That if I haven't gotten my lady to that point, and that's who she really is, then she's not my lady. She's never my lady.
Yeah.
That's Usher's girl now.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
Usher's woman.
You see, so
Yeah.
that's why I don't understand why guys who would be bothered by it. Because if your woman is out there doing something that you've never seen before, then she's just not your lady.
Right.
Right.
It's really that simple. But if a woman's out there enjoying herself on a girls' night, Usher comes over, and he does the cherries thing, because he does the cherries thing where he feeds them the cherries. So you didn't even get to that part.
I didn't even get to the cherries portion. It's
you
honestly
gotta show.
really...
You gotta let him. You gotta let Joseph experience the true Usher Raymond
the cherries?
experience.
It's like so...
So he brings out cherries.
Oh, yeah, here's the cherry part. Oh,
Oh, you thought we were done, Joseph?
Oh my God.
Oh, we just getting started.
Cherries. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's licking them like balls. Oh, she is. Wow.
Okay, so
By the way, all I'm going to say is, also from watching that video, is Usher better pray he did everything okay at those parties. Because if he didn't, there's a lot of video footage that's going to get brought up. I just pray for Usher.
Usher
Raymond. My goodness.
You ain't got to pray for Usher. Usher fine. He knows what he's
man.
doing. But I'm like, when I see a video like that, I don't feel threatened as a guy. Like, oh man, who's her man at home or whatever. I'm like, listen, if your lady's comfortable doing that, you should know it.
yeah.
There's red flags that would tell you that.
If that's your lady, then you should already know she's comfortable doing that.
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
If you're not comfortable with her doing that, she would never be your lady to begin with. And
But
you don't know
that's
her.
true.
And you don't know that.
But some girls might surprise you. You never know. Some girl just acts crazy like a groupie for no reason. Like, holy shit.
I mean, listen, I'm betting the house on some ladies that I know that's like, yes, no, yes, no. Like, I'm just calling.
Right.
I'm just calling it.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think
I'm
there's...
serious. Like, if it gets to that point, come on, dog. It's great entertainment.
Yeah.
But as a guy, I'm telling you, there's different kind of guys. Like, we're talking about White Lotus, you know what I'm saying? You got the Garys and the Gregs out there who might like to watch.
That's true.
While that takes
They would
place.
love that.
While the cherries are fed.
Yeah, if
Would I do
I
that
had
for
a girl
Dave
that did,
Goggins?
if I had a girl do something like that and I didn't okay it and I saw that, her stuff's out on
Right.
the porch when I get home. It's gone.
Because
Yeah, that's
because you
disrespectful.
didn't know her.
Yeah, I didn't know her. I was like, damn, you a groupie?
But I'm telling you, there's another dude out there that's like,
Yeah.
yeah, get them cherries, girl.
That's hilarious. But
Gary.
then if I'm that guy, I need to see more. And then we got to really set this up with a tripod.
At that point,
You're like,
Let's go all the way, not just some cherries. Let's fucking see the backstage and let me get in the concert as well.
Then in that case, that's just foreplay.
But that's very true. Now, I will say, if it does come with concert tickets for me as well and some all access, then maybe we let the girl do that. What do I get some merch? Then I'm in it. I need some Usher merch.
All things are possible.
Yeah, I like that.
Skylar has stayed out of this whole conversation.
Yeah, I don't think it would be for Skylar. Do we have one last topic to end on?
absolutely we do.
Like a little bit of a quickie.
Quickie.
The way Usher just did with that chick. Quickie. That was a quickie.
Woo!
She had him. She
Okay,
definitely came.
Maybe just like, so we were kind of talking, so there's been a lot of news with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell right now.
Glenn's the homie. What's up, Glenn?
Hi, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn.
Maybe we skip it then?
I don't mind.
Oh, okay. Just that there is so much, like we were saying, like in this video, like how much of this is a performance and how much of it is PR and how much is there actually like a romance brewing underneath the surface. And so in this situation, Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell and Anyone But You were both each other's love interests. And then shortly after the movie came out, Sydney Sweeney's engagement fell apart. A lot of fans speculating that this was, because of Glenn Powell and stuff like that.
This is where I wish you had the button so that you could play Parker Posey. Why are you with this middle-aged weirdo?
Why are you with this middle-aged weirdo?
Because I think that's what everybody thought about Sydney Sweeney's guy.
Also, she got with him in 2022, and she was 24.
See? Under 25, you fucked up.
I'm setting the record straight, at least right here. I am pro Sydney and Glenn. They have great on-screen chemistry.
Yeah.
They got to sell tickets, guys.
And their interviews are really good,
They got to
too.
sell tickets, but they got great on-screen chemistry. The Parker Posey take, just hit that. Every time I get ready to say something, just hit that instead. Just be like, why are you with this middle-aged? That's what everybody was thinking about her ex anyway.
Yeah.
So it was kind of inevitable.
How old was the dude?
Does he have a lot of money?
I don't know. The dude, and he does.
Well,
does he? I don't know.
Yeah.
He was. It's not always just about money, but you can't. I don't think you can be a woman as dynamic as she is, and you have a wallpaper boyfriend.
$40 million.
How much?
$40 million net worth.
That's not really much for her, though,
Nice for
right?
groceries.
Like again, now I will say this: when she first started
Oh, right.
in her career, having an older, late 30s guy with $40 million or whatever he's reported to have been worth, yeah, that was exciting. But with where she is now,
Not as exciting.
not as exciting.
You know what's funny, too, is that he was one of the producers of Anyone But You.
Oh, damn. I kind of feel bad for this guy right now. I don't know.
Like I
him.
said, what I say before,
It's interesting.
You got that's why I temper my thoughts. They got to sell tickets.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
They know what to do to sell tickets.
Totally.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a world we're living in, right? So you could create narratives that are fake, but maybe it works
I think a lot of those narratives were as entertaining as they were meant to be, and Glenn and Sydney have terrific screen chemistry, and I like to see them in a whole bunch of romantic comedies. But it's funny. It's better for them though if they always get close, but never.
It's like a game of just the tip. Like, hey, I'm just saying. Hey, it's just like,
This is you watching that.
This just
Because-
sounds like the
this is
girl
you
that
listening.
texted you after the Facebook Live and goes, I felt like I was up there with
well,
you.
because I've heard there's some kind of thing. I remember seeing in an episode of Entourage, if like two people can get as close as physically possible without touching, then it makes the sexualness.
Yeah, no, it
tension.
does.
So
Maybe
it's
their
like,
love language isn't physical touch.
Like
Yeah,
I don't want to see them get together, and I don't think you need to have to worry about them getting together, to be quite honest. But for the sake of selling more movie tickets,
people will do anything.
will they or won't they?
Will they, won't they?
Glenn, Sydney.
Breaking up a marriage, but so do you think she might get back together if it's fake, sort of, to sell tickets? Would she get back together with the guy, or do you think, or does the guy feel?
Or it could be totally like irrelevant,
Yeah, they could have nothing to do with each other. That's true. could just have fallen apart, and we got to sell tickets.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just, I don't know. I've never had that be a part of my career, but there are certain people that it is a major part of their career who they're with.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a major part. And it's something that I can see from a distance. No judgment at all, but it's just never been a part of my
And
career.
I will say...
And it matters.
Yes.
It's like
100%.
if she or he hits the red carpet of their next project and that person is out of this world, we never saw it coming. Whoa, are you kidding me? It's this pop star, this starlet. You know, it's gonna sell tickets.
And I will say, if I, was single, I'll say it right now. I'm saying before I was single, I would fuck my way to the top. I'm in.
Yeah.
I would do it. Wouldn't care.
Right.
I'm all for it.
Right, but that's not your option.
No, it's not my option.
Not your option.
Not my option. But if had it been, I would have done that. Although I think if I was on the...
It's not going to be offered to you.
I'll tell you right now, though. But if there was like a high-level studio exec woman who was like, here, 4-picture deal, I think I'd have to run it by my girl. And she might be like, well, is there a part for me? And all right, maybe you got to do this.
It just
Maybe she
doesn't
gets
even
some
happen
merch.
that way.
Yeah, maybe she gets the merch, We're walking out with Columbia Pictures merch, whoever. Does that still exist? I don't know.
I've always said I don't think a lot of people have a problem sleeping with... I've always said I don't think a lot of people have a problem sleeping their way to the top. It's just sleeping your way to the middle that sucks.
Oh, that's awful. Being in like a B movie?
Middle.
Oh, yeah. If you're sleeping your way and you're in like a fucking... Damn, I wish I had a good reference, but I didn't want to insult anyone. So I, for all intents and purposes, I did have a couple in my head, but I know too many people. So I don't know what the worst idea of sleeping to the middle would be.
I got some.
Yeah, I got some. Yeah, we're holding them in. Holding them in.
We're choosing kindness today.
Yeah, we're shooting. Yeah, we don't want to take a shot at anyone.
Hey,
That's high on your list.
But Chloe,
kindness.
you could say it.
I could
You're
say
not worried about insulting anyone right now.
nobody knows me.
No, it's not
Yes.
that nobody knows you, but it's just like you could say it, and then what's
What's an example of a woman sleeping her way to the middle?
what's that?
You get.
If you eventually meet this person, they'll never see it. But if you know them now, then it's hard to say
dang
it,
it,
so you'll be
like-
fine.
I appreciate the effort, girl, but damn,
Damn, that's not a good move.
she didn't play so well in the fourth.
Girl sleeping with her college professor gets like a B plus. Like, all right, bro. Like,
Yeah, that
did all
wasn't worth
for
it.
A B plus or like an A. He's like, I can't really give you the full
If
grade.
you are a co-ed girl and you slept with your college professor for a B plus,
Oh my god.
you suck.
Oh, I
Imagine-
feel like honestly
Imagine
a
the
lot
professor's
of the
like, man, like I couldn't. It was so bad. I couldn't even give you the A.
could give you
You're
the
so
A.
dumb. You're so dumb. Even though you taught me off,
gave you the
you're
D.
so stupid. I still have some level of morality and values and standards that I have to give you a B plus. You could out me to my wife, but I gotta stick to what I know and my values
And my
standards.
defense to my wife would be, honey, I didn't give her an A.
See? So I didn't give her everything she wanted.
It's one class too, so it's like a 0.2% difference in your GPA. So it's like, all right, like.
Yeah, there's so many like shows that would have been perfect references, but anyway,
I still
I
like
want to
that
keep my
one, though.
relationships.
I like that one. We can end on that one. I
Yeah.
like that one.
awesome.
Put it in the comments of your B movies of what sleeping in the middle is.
I would like to add one thing just in the clean
Yes.
at the end, just in case you guys want to use it. I think when you're evaluating what someone brings to the table, I think you can do that easily with their AAC score. And that is their accolades, their affiliations, and their character.
So would you want us to put that? You're saying
I'm
into
just saying,
that?
just in case it didn't come
Okay.
Yeah,
clean
that was smart.
before.
'Cause I.
Yeah.
That was it. An edit. That's it.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Everybody Lurks. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on all social media platforms at Everybody Lurks. On Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, and literally everywhere else on the interweb. See you next time